Welcome to NFL Daily, where we're going streaking. I'm here in the Chris Wessling podcast studio with my friend, Cynthia Frelund.
Did you streak in college?
Of course not. I'm talking about a winning streak that me and you were
streaking on the quad.
No, I definitely was not a person that do that. I didn't really know anyone. Was that really a thing? I don't think so.
Well, Boston College didn't have like sororities or fraternities, so I think that's like a frat situation, not like a.
I might surprise you with this, but I was in a fraternity.
Which one?
At Tulane University, ATO.
Okay, what's the acronym for what is it?
Alpha Tau Omega, and
no, but what's the SAE is same bleep everywhere.
It's a great embarrassment to me, and yet we had a lot of fun. It wasn't like fraternities everywhere else where I didn't live in the house. I didn't ever pay any dues. It was just you went out to a bar and you had fun. It was New Orleans. Okay. When I said we're going streaking, I'm mentioning how the sun is shining brighter on us in Los Angeles. The food is tasting better because me and you between us have had 2 straight winning weeks. So if you add it all up, that's 4 straight winning weeks between the two of us. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see our season total. We're still under 500, but we're getting close. And the reality is we're on the right track right now, another 2-1 week. And if I had just stuck with my Seahawks, I was worried about them last week. They would have been my third game I got right, but I got Atlanta and the Rams right. You got Miami and New England right last week. Where are you going first this week? Okay. 3 games every week against the spread.
So I'm doing this more for the comedic effect than anything because I know that there is a team that has really you've been chasing this team all season long and they have done you dirty, and my model finally picked them to win. So I know we did one of those losses has been this stupid team. However, I think that the Jets, they win straight up.
Wow.
Which means that the Jets are, let's see, what's the
1-point favorite?
Thank you. I didn't know if it was 1 or 1.5. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, no, they're 1.5-point underdogs. Sorry about that. I think they started as favorites. Right. And people bet it the other way. We're taping this. They are 1.5-point underdogs to the Carolina Panthers at 3-3.
Okay. So whatever side of it says the Jets win, I'll take whatever side of it.
So even if they lost by 1,
then I'm still good.
You would be good in this scenario.
That's right.
I stopped chasing them 2 weeks ago. I finally got off that narcotic. It's felt great, although they did cover last week against the Broncos.
That game was hard to watch. It was a hard watch.
You were in person. You got to London on Friday evening. And then we're gone Monday morning. That is a quick turnaround. Yeah. And the Jets, while you were there, they left Europe with less passing yards than when they arrived. That's not a good sign.
And I love
the season.
Okay, so
so give me the Jets case, the real football case.
2 things really stand out in this matchup against the Panthers. The Panthers, who have not brought a lot of pressure all season. Now, I watched a breaking point from the sideline there. Those teammates were not happy from the Jets. Garrett Wilson, so now we see something where, Justin Fields was holding onto the ball for far too long. He shouldn't have been sacked 9 times. That's a ridiculous number. So they're going to have to change some things. It is time. It is hard to lose all of your games in a season. This is a good opportunity to leverage Breece Hall's effectiveness in the run game. He is tied for the 2nd most explosive runs with 14 in the NFL. That's a huge deal. On the other side, Jermaine Johnson being back, that is a huge upgrade. Michael Clemens and Jermaine Johnson, it's 2 ends of the spectrum here. And I don't mean to be mean to him because he is, I'm sure he's a very nice man. I don't know him.
He's a professional. He's made a lot of money doing what he did.
And
Michael Clemens.
Correct.
Yes.
But he can't set the edge.
Big upgrade for Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, he looked good last week.
Jermaine Johnson is a big deal. And in this one where I don't think Teteroa McMillan is great, but this is not the same. The Broncos defense is really scary. You gotta, that's a hard defense to navigate no matter who you are. I just think that the balance point of this will be better.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm staying far away from that one.
I kind of just think it's funny more than anything else. I'm here for the comedy as well.
I don't have a hot take on that game at all. I actually really like 4 games this week. So it's very difficult because we have to narrow it down by 1. So I might go through all 4 and you can help me maybe cancel one out. But I'm going to start with Arizona plus 6.5 hosting the Green Bay Packers.
Who do you think the quarterback is?
I think it's probably Jacoby Brissett. But Kyler Murray was at practice on Wednesday. Generally, if a starting quarterback is limited at practice on a Wednesday, he will start that game. I'm not worried about who the quarterback is. I might prefer Jacoby Brissett. Their offense looked good last week, more under center runs.
I have a greater output for Arizona with Jacoby Brissett than Kyler Murray as well. Just so we're clear.
Okay, so they have a bye next week, and just reading between the lines with the national insiders, it sounded like they would prefer to rest Kyler through the bye to make sure that he stays 100%. We will see. But the number here is too big for me either way. Okay, nobody's beaten the Cardinals by more than 4 so far, and they've played some good teams. They played Seattle, they played San Francisco, they played Indianapolis. They actually have a plus scoring differential on the season. They are the example of what the NFL is all about this year, which is 1-score games and a big fat middle. They are more like a 3-3 team, okay? Even their wins this year are by 1 score. So they played in 6 straight 1-score games. Meanwhile, the Packers, I think they should be one of the best teams in the league, but they haven't really performed like it on a consistent basis. They're like 7th or 8th in DVOA overall. I just think this Cardinals team needs this game so bad, and I do sometimes go with desperation. They're at home. They're before the bye. It's a big moment for them. They have their offensive line in place for the first time really since the very beginning of last year. I think their defense is well coached. And show me the Green Bay game other than against Cincinnati. They didn't even really do it against Cincinnati, where they're like running away.
They did
and
against
hiding.
the Lions.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's week 1. Mm-hmm. So on the road, I do not trust them to go and get this done. I just think it's going to be a close game at the end.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Okay,
I have the same. I do have the Packers winning. The Packers, I have them winning, but I have Arizona keeping it close.
I thought for our show game debut of taking the Cardinals straight up. I just can imagine it, that they have a win that turns their season around. But I don't need the win here. It's like what I talked about last week when I went with Atlanta. I was like, I don't need the win.
Love it.
They just need to cover.
Hey,
and
great.
Same thing with the Patriots a couple weeks ago. Maybe they will win. So if you're into that, whatever the number is on the
if you're
win
into
straight
that
up,
sort of thing,
I wouldn't tell you not to do that. So Arizona plus 6.5 is my first one. All right, you're up next.
Okay. What's the number you're seeing for Jacksonville and the Rams? The Rams are favored. I see 3.
Yes.
Okay. I think Jacksonville wins.
Wow. Straight up.
Straight up. Now tell me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to love NFL Daily forever? You know?
Yep. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're old.
We're really old. If anyone gets that, congratulations.
People are going to get it. It's a popular song.
It's a great song. A couple of things. One, I don't think Puka Nacua will play, and I don't think that's accurately priced into this line.
Interesting.
So without Puka Nacua, the math becomes quite different. Matthew Stafford's passer rating when targeting Devontae Adams or everyone else, just a lot worse. Puka is so important to this offense, and not to say that Sean McVay can't figure some things out, but the Jags defense is pretty good. Now, they're without Devin Lloyd, who is the league's interception leader. But they've got a number of other pieces that are also pretty good. Even though they're not getting a ton of pressure up front, the things that they're doing on the back end are helping them out significantly. So, and the Jags, by the way, like London's their second home. They've, we talk about it all the time. They've played 14 games abroad or something. This will be their 14th game. They're 7-6, all in London. I think that they have a better, like the day they get the schedule is more set. The Rams don't get there till Saturday. Do you know how hard that is? I mean, I just did that, and I'm like, I'm a regular old analyst. I'm not trying to run at people and hit things and be violent. I was just trying to get to London, you know?
Right. Knowing that organization, there's certainly one that is into sleep science and everything like that. And I think there's a lot of disagreeing theories of what's better for your body clock. They determined that staying in Baltimore all week, they're not doing any media over there. They're arriving, like you said, Saturday morning, and then we'll play 24 hours later. That is the latest any team's ever shown up. Plenty of teams have showed up on Friday. The Chiefs, I think, traditionally show up late in the week. That
Did
happens
you feel weird getting off the plane?
Absolutely. It takes
Maybe we're
problem.
old.
If anything,
We also
and
listen
maybe
to
this
Paul
is what the
Abdul.
science is saying, I feel
Yeah.
better for the first 24 to 36 hours. Maybe it's like it's almost still like a rush, and then it sets in. That is difficult. I am with you. I had the Jaguars covering the spread. It's not one of the games I considered. I have the Rams winning, so I don't feel strong about that game. I do wonder if this Jaguars offensive line is not as good as we thought.
It's not.
They played some good opponents for them, like easy opponents early, and then last week they did not look good. They were without their center. I think that could be a big deal if he doesn't return, but we don't know that for
I think
sure.
both things are true.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good as I think it was like 3 sacks through 4 weeks, something crazy.
Right.
It's either 4 sacks through 3 weeks or 3 sacks through 4 weeks. Either way.
And they had
it was
2
good.
games where they didn't give up a pressure.
That's right.
Including against the Falcons.
I think that was a little fugazi, but I also think that it's a little bit false to say that they're as bad as they looked against the Seahawks as well.
Right.
So I think both things are true. I mostly think that the ability for Travis Etienne to get some chunk yardage plays. I know he was held to just 27 yards last week against Seahawks. That's very different defense. They don't have the back end pieces on the Rams that are quite as great at helping out, especially in that kind of run situation coverage than they do compared to the Seahawks. So the Rams they're just a different team. So.
Yeah, you attack them on the ground. I think the Jaguars have an advantage there. The Rams, one of the best rushing teams in the league. The Jaguars maybe a little better set up to stop the run. That's close to a coin flip game for me. I am glad that we're sending all our UK, London residents a better game this week, because the 2 games overseas so far, really all 3, if you go back to Dublin, have been very close, down to the wire, and they've all had moments. But that I do feel a little bad about sending Broncos Jets over there, and so I think we're wrapping up the London portion with the best game yet. 2 good 4-2 teams. Okay, like I said, I have 4 picks. You're going to help me cancel one out. The first one was Arizona. The second one is such a funky line. Tampa Bay plus 5.5, that I feel like Vegas is trying to get everyone to go with the Bucs. Or maybe they don't think like that, like Patrick says, and maybe that's just what the numbers say. And I know if you peek beneath the hood, the Bucs haven't been as good really as their record would indicate, but they are like number 1 in a lot of people's power rankings. They're literally the number 1 seed in the NFC right now, I think for a reason, and that's that they're getting better. They're actually getting healthier. And the reason I love this, and man, I have a hard time even picking the Lions to win straight up, although I did, but I have it as a 1-point game, is the Lions injuries. It's a disaster week for them. They don't have their 2 starting cornerbacks, and they have to go up against Baker Mayfield, and they don't have Brian Branch, who's suspended. And oh, by the way, Kirby Joseph doesn't look 100%. He's not really at practice. Taylor Decker, the left tackle, might return to practice. He's up in the air as we're taping. Put it all up there, and man, you're giving me 5.5 points for one of the best teams in the NFL. I love that one. I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah, I have a 3-point win for Detroit, so I'm on the same side as you about that one. I think that it was the combination of, Emeka Egbuka is not playing for sure.
Yeah.
Mike Evans.
I think he's back. I'm going to assume Evans is into my pricing as back, just on the optimism that Todd Bowles is saying. Yeah.
Sure, but is he 100% back or back?
Right, because Chris Godwin was back a couple weeks ago.
Chris Godwin was back,
and then
but was
really
he back?
Yeah.
So I guess
he's not back anymore, by the way.
No, he's unback. He went back to being unback. Whatever.
They're thin at receiver, but they've shown that they can overcome that. Yeah.
Of course, but it helps that helps the Lions. Because, look, what we saw from the Lions last week against Patrick Mahomes was getting crushed when Patrick used an intermediate pass. Just death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Or intermediate passes are the paper cuts here. But I don't think that the difference is Baker's ability to have, there's no Xavier Worthy plus Hollywood Brown plus Travis Kelce plus, they just don't have that depth.
Can I give you a Tez Johnson? How about a little?
You try to sell me on a Tez.
How about
Johnson?
like an aged 19 or maybe 2000
Cade Otton
19 version of Sterling Shepard?
Love
it's
it.
kind of like popping up. I hear you.
But
that's why I took the Lions ultimately to win, and I trust their organization. They haven't lost 2 straight for 3 years now. They
can lose. Trust me, I've seen it.
You don't think that matters, but I do think great teams, great organizations, it's tough for them to lose twice in a row. I think they have a big time home field advantage. And that's why I think it's a coin flip. I'd absolutely pick the Bucs if it was in Tampa. But since it's in Detroit, I'm taking the Lions to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bucs win straight up. Doesn't matter. Right. 5.5 points is a lot. It's a lot. It's like they're begging us, which I'm a little.
It does feel like a tasty little snack, right?
I'm a little wary.
Come here, little kid. Here's some candy for you.
Right,
that does kind of feel like
I feel
that.
good about it. So Bucs plus 5.5. Let's go with your third pick.
I'm going for some symmetry here. I'm going to end this one with the Denver Broncos, and I think that they win by more than 7. I think that as good as we've seen the Giants, and I know it's been fun. I know they just beat the Eagles. I did watch it. I saw it. I saw everything, and I saw what happened against the Jets. But ahead of the game, all of those Denver players who had been a week on the East Coast in Philadelphia ahead of going to, they were just over it. And not to say that that's like, that you can't factor that into the math, but what I'm looking at here is J.K. Dobbins, another guy who's great at explosive runs. That is where the Giants can get got. I also watched these screen passes. And what did the Denver Broncos do? Screen? Do you want to?
Yeah.
Let's run a screen.
The linebackers stink for the Giants.
Screen. And you know who gives up a ton of yards to screen passes? The Giants. So as good as their front is, I think that the O-line plus the screen pass plus the run game for the Broncos and plus how nasty that Denver defense is, that defense is firing on all cylinders. Nick Bonito is. I'm not suggesting that the front isn't great for the Giants, but the back end and the linebacker level nowhere near the caliber of what the Broncos are bringing.
Love it. What does your computer model do with extra rest? Does it matter at all?
Depends. It depends on the extra rest, right?
So the Giants in this case have 4 extra days rest. And
do they get Malik Neighbors back?
No.
Oh, okay. Now that would be a difference maker.
He's going to be out the rest of the year. That's priced into all their numbers. They get the extra rest, and Denver's coming all the way back from London. Sometimes, I don't know if you can factor that in, but that does seem like a lot. I saw something for what it's worth. They're the first team, like in Mountain or Pacific, to ever come back from London and play the next week. It's usually up to the teams if they want to take the bye the next week after going overseas. They do not have
it's also alumni weekend, and if you're into like this sort of thing, they're honoring Demaryius Thomas in this one. So, and he's like the heartbeat of. Okay. I'm just saying. So if you're looking at these external factors, it's alumni weekend. DT's getting his whatever the version of the Broncos Ring of Honor is, whatever that is, and.
So I've kept this in my pocket, but I disagree.
Woo!
I strongly disagree, but I'm happy that you took the Broncos -7, because what it did for me is it made up my mind which pick of mine I'm going to eliminate, because Giants +7 was one of my 4 picks I really liked. And I want us both to shine right now. We are both on a winning streak. Despite one of your only 2 losses in the last 2 weeks combined was when we went head to head.
Yep.
So I don't want to guarantee one of us is getting a loss when we each had winning weeks back-to-back weeks. So I will just put that in my pocket. That's just an extra pick. Everyone who's listening knows I feel differently. And I will make the case just briefly, which is, okay, I made the rest case, which I think matters a little bit to me. They both just played Philadelphia. If you're going to do the Pythagorean theorem, I mean, who looked? It was like the biggest thing ever when Denver went into Philadelphia.
Where's Jalen Carter? How do you factor him not playing?
Okay, that's fair.
He's like, I don't like this turf.
I'm just saying they both are feeling great after beating the Eagles. I mean, the Giants looked even more impressive beating the Eagles.
Sure.
I liked what I saw out of the Giants defense last week. I thought they were more creative, really confusing.
Were they more creative, or
I think they stole some stuff from the Broncos because they were showing more of like.
Tell me what you think about that Eagles offense being creative, and I will wait.
Right, fair.
I will wait.
But what they did was they showed some of the simulated pressures that they wanted. They showed some post-snap movement, like the things that we haven't seen out of Shane Bowen and that Giants defense very often. I thought they did well, like some run blitzes, all this stuff. I was like, okay, that's great. And then the bigger factor here is. Since Jackson Dart took over, they're 2-1, and they've covered twice. The Broncos, and I was thinking about this because they are not.
Who'd they lose to?
The Saints.
And you know why?
5 straight turnovers.
Yeah. You know what happens when you have a lot of pressure, like the most pressure in the league?
Yeah. That could happen. You know how many times the Broncos have covered all year? Because I was thinking about it. They have not really had many convincing games. And that's why when I see 7, and I wouldn't be that shocked if the underdog wins the game, which I personally would not be that shocked this week. Obviously you would. Then I just like taking that many points. The Broncos have only covered twice all year. Once was as the underdog to the Eagles, which by the way was my pick that week. Mm-hmm. The other time was against the Bengals.
Yeah, you picked them straight up.
But they've had some spots where they're heavy favorites, like against the Titans, and other times where they're favorites and they haven't won. So I just thought if you look at these two teams, I think they're closer than people think. But you disagree, and the math, the model has been right again and again over the years for good reasons. So I'm happy to just have that be my just
your extra.
Put it in the pocket.
So what's the official?
Oh, that's right. I need
your official third one.
It's Chiefs minus 11.5.
It's
not fun.
No,
you made fun of me last week
about?
for switching into like Rams or like that's not exciting. They're minus 7.5 against the Ravens. It's all exciting when you get it right.
Winning's exciting.
Yes. So to me, this is just an old school Kansas City team. You probably don't have these numbers right in front of you because I didn't ask you ahead of time. But just, do you have an overall efficiency metric for offense and defense? Mm-hmm. Because what is the Chiefs right now on offense?
Well, it factors in the whole season. Are you talking on a week?
Even the whole season
basis?
Whole season.
Yeah. Well,
I'm guessing it's really high. For what it's worth, I'll let you look it up.
I'll look at it. Yeah.
DVOA has them as the number 2 offense now in the league and the number
6.
18
Sorry, I didn't
defense.
mean to interrupt you.
No, that's perfect. And what is the defense? Somewhere more in the middle, I would guess. It's an old school Chiefs team is my
After last week,
point.
it's 14.
Yeah. So these are the Chiefs teams we grew up, we were just little kids when they
little
were
whippersnappers.
When they were going up and down the field and Patrick Mahomes was winning his first MVP. It's an old school type of Chiefs team that I can recognize. A great offensive line, and I'm maybe a good to great offensive line. Mahomes making plays on the move, Mahomes making plays down the field, and then team speed. You are taking Juju Smith-Schuster off the field, going from probably about 40 snaps to about 12. He'll be in there for run blocking. And then you are inserting Rashee Rice into those snaps. Almost the same role, who looked fantastic by the end of last year, who I just think is going to take off. And you have him and Worthy, and when they want to use Thornton on the field all at the same time, man, this is a fast defense with a lot of pass pro against a Raiders team that just can't protect. Forget it.
Yeah,
put up 35-14. I apologize to Geno Smith, but I just think this Raiders team is one of the worst teams in the league.
Since 2018, the win margin average for the Chiefs 13.3 points. So I'm actually with you. I have a 13-point win for
Let's
them.
go.
Rashee Rice. This was interesting. You know how conservative my model tends to be.
Yes.
Well, I looked at it like without and with Rashee Rice just because I was curious what difference he would make in this one, and it's 1 full point.
That's a lot for a receiver.
That's a lot for me. Like there's some quarterbacks that don't give a 1 point upgrade.
That's crazy.
But it's also the matchup, right? The matchup where you now have, the secondary of the Raiders is one where it's not maybe the strongest.
Yeah, you just talked about the intermediate game last week for the Chiefs, and you can imagine the safeties, the linebackers for the Raiders getting picked on. All right, your picks are Denver +7. Or -7, rather.
I was about to say, I'll take Denver +7 all day. There we go. Yep.
You have the Broncos as a touchdown favorite at home. You have the Jets as a 1.5-point underdog at home. Just that's spicy. And then you have the Jaguars in London. Technically a home game, but we know that it's a neutral game, I would say, for this. Although the Jaguars will have more fans than the Rams there.
I don't know. I think those fans are hilarious. I was a big fan. Like, they're just fans of the whole sport, the songs, all of it. You've been.
The fans are great.
Fans are awesome.
I've been to a lot of the international games now. The Dublin crowd was different because it was a Steelers home game. It was really crazy to see a Steelers home game in Dublin, but so many Dublin Steelers fans and so many people just traveled for that game. Patrick Queen even said it afterwards. He's like, they were louder throughout than the home crowd in Pittsburgh. But this week it'll just be a great celebration of football. My picks, you crossed me out from going Giants +7. I don't want to go against you, so that's just an extra one. But I go Chiefs -11.5, Bucks +5.5, and the Cardinals. The other one, just keeping an eye on
The
it.
Cardinals, you're getting 5.5. Just
6.5.
Sorry,
6.5 for the Cardinals. Do not take that point away.
Sorry,
from me.
no. I thought it was 5.5. So 6.5
That's
is even
a nice,
better.
juicy one. I was hoping it'd get up to 7. It did not. I was keeping an eye on that Washington game, but now the injury report's so weird with Debo and Terry McLaurin.
I think that whatever the number is, though, I think that it's too low. I think that's going to be like to the moon game.
Oh, in terms of the over-under. I gotcha. Yeah, I agree with you on that as well. So just keep an eye on the injury report. I do kind of like the Commanders. All right, that is it for our Week 7 picks. We're making some progress here in terms of the season, and we're making progress in terms of our picks. We will be back Sunday night. Myself, Patrick Claybon, Jordan Rodriguez, and Nick Shook for your Week 7 recap. We will see you then.